very much for joining us for this sherry masterclass. Which is going to be offered by Antonio Flores, who's our head winemaker at Gonzalez Bias. If you don't know me, my name is Martin Skelton. I get to see lots of well-known faces and friends around the table, but I'm the managing director of Gonzalez Bias in the UK. But today I'm translating for Antonio. So, I mean, just before he starts, I'd like to say that this is the occasion really of our 175th anniversary of Gonzalez Bias. We're still a family-owned business. Fifth generation of the family running the business, and some of you will have met Mauricio Gonzalez and Pedro Revuelta, who are around today. They're our chairman and vice chairman, so we're delighted that they're with us as well. Of course, at the heart of the business is sherry, so we're delighted to have a full house for the session this morning. Antonio is going to take us through all of these lovely products and the wonder of Flores.
Antes que nada, es para mí un honor siento mucho no hablar inglés, pero Martín me va a presentar su voz y su conocimiento, que nos tiene muchos décadas, y vamos a hacer un recorrido por la vida de un pino vivo. Pino Pepe es un pino vivo y lo vamos a conocer desde su nacimiento hasta prácticamente la culminación.
Antonio is delighted to be here, obviously, to share his understanding of the world of sherry, and in particular this style of sherry, which is Flores sherry. He'll be showing us this style of sherry from its birth to a very developed style of fino sherry.
Yo siempre comento que Jerez se sustenta en 5 pilares. Uno es su tierra de la brisa. El segundo es una monovarietal dominante, que es la que vamos a tener hoy oportunidad de ver en estos vinos.
Antonio says there are 5 main pillars or columns in terms of sherry production. The first being the soil, the Alvarita soil, the chalk soil of Jerez. The second is almost the monovarietal agriculture of Jerez, which is obviously the Palomino grape.
El tercer pilar es el sistema de crianza biológico sobre el que hoy vamos a hacer hincapié.
And the third is the biological style of aging, or the aging in a nursery system of casks.
El cuarto pilar es el sistema de crianza oxidativa, que en los últimos vinos veremos cómo se va a ir incorporando.
And the fourth being the oxidative aging system, whereas the wines slowly oxidize. Obviously that happens even with the fino at the end of its life in the barrel.
Y el quinto pilar es nuestro sistema de envejecimiento. Si el sistema de envejecimiento de añada representa la singularidad de cada cosecha, el sistema de criadera y solera representa la homogeneidad del producto final.
And lastly, he says, it's the system of aging, maturation of sherry. And of course we have 2 systems. We have a system for vintage aging, vintage sherries. You can see a couple today outside. We have two vintages on show. But at the other end of the spectrum we have the system of Criadera and Soleras, which is the fractional blending system, the more traditional system of sherry making.
Fijaros, el primer vino que vamos a catar es nuestro mosto, la copa número 1.
So the first one we try is the must or mosto, which is glass number 1.
Algo muy importante, le llamamos mosto, o sea, o zumo de uva, a lo que ya realmente es un vino fermentado, pero realmente le falta la clasificación, le falta el destino final. No nos atrevemos todavía a llamarlo vino hasta que lo clasificamos.
So the first wine is the Mosto. He says that in Jerez we call must a wine that's been fermented, so this is already a wine, it's not a grape juice prior to fermentation, it's a fermented wine. In Jerez we don't really call this a wine until it's been classified, until we know what use to give this wine, whether it's going to be a Pinot or a Rose.
Para esta cata hemos traído el mosto, el vino joven de la cosecha del 2010. O sea, quiere decir que el 16 de agosto este vino joven, la uva estaba entrando en el lagar.
So on the 16th of August, they were picking these particular Palomino grapes, the Mosca you've got in front of you.
Todavía ha terminado la fermentación, están los depósitos de fermentación, todavía podemos apreciar cómo tiene partículas sólidas en suspensión, pero lo he querido traer porque es el vino representativo sobre el que vamos a construir el resto de los vinos.
He says the fermentation is only just finished. In fact, you can see that in suspension in the wine, all the small, all the sediment of the fermentation.
En el caso de este mosto tiene 12 grados, 12,3.
So 12.3 degrees.
Está todavía sin encabezar, sin fortificar.
It hasn't yet been fortified.
Su color es amarillo pajizo, muy pálido, con muy importantes toques verdosos.
Slight green shades to it.
Turbio, por lo que os decía con anterioridad, las pequeñas partículas sólidas todavía están en suspensión.
Obviously not green, because it's straight from the tap.
Y a la nariz se muestra con toda la potencia de la Palomino recién fermentada.
What he likes to show on this wine is the Palomino, is the flavour of the Palomino grape. So you can see the starting point for our vino. What would be the alcohol content?
12,3.
12.3.
Realmente a la nariz podemos encontrar toda una gama de aromas verdes, florales, cítricos.
So you can find aromas, floral, citric aromas.
Florales, cítricos, herbáceos,
herbal, green grass.
Y claro, lógicamente ya apunta a los aromas propios de la variedad, aromas más frutos secos. No malolactic.
No malolactic fermentation.
Hay una fermentación tumultuosa que dura aproximadamente 7 días y después una fermentación lenta de
7 days of fermentation.
This doesn't strike me as very acidic. Do you have the analytical value of the tartaric acid or the triple acid?
Realmente en algunas vendimias hay que corregirlo así.
So in some harvests we have to slightly correct acidity, but not in all.
Realmente no es algo demasiado importante, porque si la Palomino tiene algo, es que es realmente algo neutro. Y después el vino en su recorrido va a ir concentrando todo lo que le falta de potencia, de fuerza, de vida, a baja acidez, lo va a ir concentrando después en su recorrido.
Relative importance in the world of white wine, level of acidity is less important in a Pinot Sherry than might be in other white wines. Because the production of this wine actually happens. He says that what we need to start with is very much a neutral wine that's clean and it's correct for the production of Pinot Sherry.
I understand that a lot of the texture that you get in other wines with acidity you get through raw aging, but my question was specifically if you had in grams per liter what the acidity was in this?
Tiene aproximadamente lo que nosotros le calculamos en volátil, está en volátil, tiene aproximadamente 0,10, 0,11 gramos.
0,10, 0,11 grams
y
per liter.
3,2, 3,4 así de total.
3.3, 3.4 grams of total acidity.
Pero coméntale que lo que nosotros buscamos en estos comienzos es un vino lo suficientemente, yo no diría que neutro, pero sí con cierta finura para que después la flor pueda desarrollar toda su gama de matices locales.
I mean, what they're looking here is for the raw material of a future Pinot Sherry. So for them, it's more about the character of this wine being correct for that future development in barrel.
Es un vino por hacer, es un vino recién nacido. Realmente no se embotella este vino en este.
So this is a recently made wine. This is just to give you a point of reference. Obviously, this isn't a product we bottle in. So
lo he traído porque quería que ustedes vieran sobre lo que
he brought it because he thought it would be a
sobre
great
lo que se
starting point, given
construye.
that we're very lucky that the fermentation